All right. Hello, everybody. This is Zaxter99. Guys, we got another first impressions review video. This is a sponsored review, my first one. Since I put out a video about a week ago letting indie developers know that if they wanted me to play their game, give them constructive feedback or feedback, honest feedback on their game, which means it's not always going to be positive, then, they need to compensate me for my time. So the first indie developer that has taken advantage of my services here is Scary Business Intelligence Limited. And this is his first title on Steam and a $5 price tag here in America. It just came out yesterday, and it's a first-person indie horror survival game. Use light and sound-based strategies to evade the ghost and achieve objectives to unlock the extended ending. Okay, so I do have Addie here. She's just going to be kind of listening. She was watching me play the game as well. Now, first, guys, I want to go ahead and talk about the services that you're buying here and my reviews and just my honesty in general. So, first and foremost, I want to go ahead and let you guys know that horror games is something I can really get into. So, I have positively reviewed a good number of horror games on Steam over the past 10 years. And some of them I really like. Obviously, games like Outlast or whatever are polished and well done. But I've also liked quite a few indie horror games. So, with this one here, though, guys, we're falling into the horror game genre. And I would say at least 95% of the indie horror games on Steam, I absolutely despise, I hate, because I don't think they're fun. And the reason I don't think most indie games, horror games, are fun is because so many of them have you searching around in circles, usually in the dark, for keys or codes or whatever to progress the game. And a lot of them are full of jump scares that I just don't find that fun. With a horror game, guys, I want a good story. I want to feel like I'm actually accomplishing something other than just searching around randomly in a big house or a big school or whatever for clues or for keys. Looking around for keys in the dark, especially with like a shitty flashlight where the light doesn't spread out in the darkness that well. It's just not fun to me. And then another thing I hate about horror games is a lot of them have a enemy or a creature or whatever that's trying to kill you. And one thing that can really make a horror game not fun is when it feels cheap and it feels like the creature or the enemy is teleporting to you or coming up behind you while you're not looking and you're dead without even having a chance to run away or escape or whatever. And sadly, in this particular game, guys, we fall in that 95% of horror games I just don't like. So I hate to say it because this developer has sponsored me and sponsored this video. But if I'm not completely honest, guys, about the games that I'm paid to review or with any game that I review, if I'm not honest, I can't give feedback that's going to help the developer make his game better. So in this video, that's what I'm going to try to do, is try to give the developer my suggestions and my honest feedback on ways I think he can make his game a lot better. And I think I'm going to give him invaluable feedback that's going to be worth way more than what he spent on having me review his game to help him make his game a lot more fun. And hopefully he can take some of this that I'm giving him into future projects as well. Okay? So we're going to go ahead and talk about The Last Girl, or That Last Girl. We're going to play it. We're going to show you the things I like, the things I absolutely hate, and ways I think he can make his game better. And we'll do all that right after this. All right, welcome back, everybody, to That Last Girl. So, a $5 indie horror game that I've played about an hour here before reviewing the game. And with that, I know some things about the game, and I want to go ahead and start off. And remember, most of the feedback I'm giving here is to the indie developer that made this game, because he's the one who sponsored this review. So I want to go ahead and say thank you to the developer who sponsored this review and is paying me for my time here. To Hirafumu, Yorkshire, England, early 2000s. And let's go ahead and watch the intro.
Please state your name for the tape.
Is it recording this time?
Just state your name and what happened.
My name is Barry Christian. I work for Insight Surveyors. I don't know Nathan. I survey properties, he cleans them. We've spoken 3 or 4 times in 2 years. I know he creeps the receptionist out.
How do you know that?
How do you think? Because she told me more than once, including today, yesterday now, when, like I said, I went to the office in the hope Nathan had dropped off the keys for a building I was scheduled to inspect.
The factory?
Industrial laundrette, yes. He hadn't. Dropped off the keys, that is. He'd had them for months. But Sonia, the receptionist, she said she'd seen him drive by the office just an hour before, so I decided to see if Nathan was at the laundrette and get the keys myself. I found a really rickety ladder to the roof.
Then what happened?
And then Nathan bursts onto the roof in a really weird mask, frantic and babbling about.
Barry, that last girl won't stay dead. I just wanted her to smile. She took my keys, but the ladder, we have to escape.
The ladder collapsed and Nathan fell.
Then what happened?
Then shit got weird.
Uh-oh. There's that girl. Like a zombie eating him. Eating his intestines out of his body. And then she walks freakily away. Okay, so guys, this is our intro. I like the intro video. I think he did a superb job for a $5 indie game. I think that was well done. I like it. I think he did a good job on that. So we got play, we got options. I want to show you guys the options here. There is, you can go all the way up to 2560 by 440. The problem I have with this is there's no way to go to a windowed mode. So to the developer, I think you need both these resolution options. It's fine, but you definitely need, you know, windowed or full screen, or borderless full screen maybe as options. You have an anti-aliasing, shadow quality, and I get jump scare in the options. I like that. Not really. Texture and mouse inverted, and then we have our volume. All right, let's go ahead and turn the volume down just a tad. Also, guys, I don't think I turned the volume down at all. I think this is where he has it by default, so I like that. I like the fact that he doesn't have it maxed out like so many games nowadays, where as soon as you launch a game, it's like maximum volume and blows your fucking eardrums out. So at least the developer looks like he's experienced that as well, so he changed that in his game. So we have WASD to move around. We have interact as E, F is flashlight. I also love the fact that he tied the flashlight into the right mouse button. Very well done to the developer there. One thing you're not seeing here, guys, that I don't like is I don't like 2 things. I think there should be 2 extra keys here for the controls. I feel like shift should be run, so I want to be able to run. And I also feel like maybe interact should be the left mouse button, so I don't have to hit E if I can interact with the left mouse button, since it's not doing anything else. That might be something he wants to do, is make interact also be the left mouse button. That'd be cool. But again, 2 keys that we're missing, guys, I feel like are shift for running. And what about a control to crouch? We don't have any way to crouch or a run. I would love to see those added to this game, and I feel like in a game like this, that would be very important. And this is after playing the game for an hour as well. So we have our objectives. To win the game and unlock the extended end sequence, complete all the objectives. Find Nathan's key. So Nathan is the guy that, I guess, I think Nathan is the guy that dropped off there in the scene. We find all 5 victims. Nathan's been busy. Find the last girl's doll. Avoid that last girl. And after we get those, after we find all 6 victims, we find the last girl's doll, and we get Nathan's key. That's 7 things we need to find. Then we need to find the exit and get out. If you're lucky, you won't see her. If you're unlucky, she'll hear you. So let's go ahead and look at the tips to play. That last girl travels at a great speed in darkness. An on-factory light will slow that last girl before braking. So the light will slow the enemy, but then it's going to brake. And then in conjunction with the limited flashlights that you have, it's only a matter of time until you are plunged into darkness. I don't like that at all. I hate this. I hate the fact that you're going to be in total darkness and there's not much light, and you'll see why here once we start playing the game, guys. That last girl relies on sound, but will ignore the elevator and footsteps. She can, now I want you guys to remember this. She relies on sound, but she's going to ignore the elevator and footsteps. She can hear through doors, but not walls. And has to be close to you, know your location. But once she knows your location, it's over. Good luck. So, let's go ahead and play the game now, guys. And it's loading. Alright, so first off, guys, we look, I like the rain, I like the thunder. The clouds, I mean, I like the looks of the clouds in the sky and like how dark it is. It looks like it's a creepy night as we look around. So he does actually have clouds moving in the sky. I like a lot of what this developer's done. But then when we start moving about, guys, we have a head bob, which is fine. I don't mind this head bob. I think he could lighten it a little bit more. I don't think there's that much head bobbing just in walking around. But when I first launched this game yesterday, the head bobbing was out of control, and he did fix that. So he is making changes to the game to make the game better. So we can jump down there, and we hear the sound effects, the creepy sound effects of like that last girl breathing or whatever, and it's like we constantly hear that. So the first change I would make to the developer is I don't think we constantly need to hear the creature breathing. And she's coming, by the way. She's over there, and you'll see her in a minute. But I don't feel like we need to constantly hear the creature breathing. I feel like we should only hear her breathing if she's really close. Like right now, maybe I should hear her breathing and I don't hear anything. She's over there. Let's take a closer look at her. Okay, that sound effect, I believe, was a light breaking. After playing this game for an hour, I've heard that sound a few times, and I believe it does happen when a light breaks. And then if the light breaks, we can't turn it back on. Right mouse button again, guys, to turn your flashlight on and off. Notice you do have a battery in the upper left, so you want to conserve it as much as you can. But one thing I wanted to show you guys here real quick. Oh, I stepped on that. But remember, she can't hear footsteps. Your character will also say things like, I think she's close, and stuff like that to tell you when she's close. Yeah, there she is. So she crawls like this, and while it's kind of creepy, it does look a little bit glitchy. I think you can probably do a little bit better job on that. And sometimes she just kind of like turns invisible for a second and then fades back in. I guess that's part of him trying to make her look creepy, I'm not sure. But right here, this is where I kind of wish we could duck or something. And crouch. We heard a car pass behind us. I guess that was pretty cool. So the car passing behind us, that was a cool sound. The thunder is a cool sound. Hi, bitch. I love the fact she can't see the light or anything like that, so she can't see me. So right now we're just kind of observing the enemy to see kind of how she moves, so we kind of know what to expect. I like the shadow of her shadow appearing on the wall. There's a lot of things that this developer has done really well in this game. Okay. So one thing I wanted to show you guys, hopefully we don't get snagged by the killer here, but the first problem I'm having, guys, is if I'm a guy, I should be able to walk between these two things, and I've just made noise, so she's probably heard that, but I can't walk between those two items. Yeah. So she heard that, and she went right there. So that's pretty cool. So if you end up making a sound like that, she's going to end up hearing that and coming looking for you. And now she's going back. So, let me go ahead and pause the game here real quick, guys. And I want to show you guys what I think the developer needs to do. Or this is more to the developer or any developers that, you know, are making games like this. So while we have it on pause, this is the first problem. You're going to see this once we get into the game. If you don't have your flashlight on and you haven't turned a light switch on and like maybe the light's broken or whatever in a particular room, this is pretty much what you see right here. Absolute blackness. You see nothing. And that is infuriating. Nothing is more frustrating or an immersion killer like moving around and not being able to see a goddamn thing. So the first tip and suggestion to this developer that I give you is you have windows in this big building. I would make the window light, you know, so it's not so dark, like light come in the windows. Even though it's night, there's still stars and stuff like that that could give a little bit of light into these rooms. And if you can make that light actually spread out rather than just be in one like solid ray, like make it dissipate well through the room, that would be best so that we can actually see all through the room. You know, obviously there's going to be darker corners and stuff like that, but I never want to see this when I'm in the game. I never want to see complete darkness. But so this is a first-person game. Let me go ahead and get back to what I was saying here, guys. So I believe what we have here in this game is because it's a first-person game, I believe probably what the developer has done is you're probably just a sphere. Your character's probably not an avatar like she is. Your character's probably a sphere like this, right? And what I feel has happened is he's made us a sphere, and the reason we couldn't get between those two boards where he made that sound as she came, right? Let me change this to, we had like a board here, and then we had another fucking item over here, right? And it looks like we should have been able to walk through there, but we couldn't because the sphere is too big and it's not shaped like a human. So my first suggestion to the developer would be to probably, instead of making this a sphere, if it is a sphere, we probably want to change the hitbox on your, you know, your whatever you're moving to something more like this, so it's thin, so you can get around easier. And you'll definitely notice that when you're inside the building and you're walking around shelves and stuff like that, the hitbox is definitely, your character's hitting hitboxes even though they're 6 feet away and bumping into stuff even though you're 6 feet away. And that's really frustrating and can be a huge immersion breaker. So I would definitely make your character shaped more like this inside the Unreal Engine rather than a sphere or a circle or a wide box if you are a rectangle. So that would be my first suggestion to the developer. Hopefully this has helped you and you won't be colliding with stuff so much inside the game. So there's some suggestions already for the developer that on ways that I think you can make your game better. Let's go ahead and continue playing, guys. Okay. So at this point, let's go ahead and jump down here. And also right here, guys, where that hole is very big, this is where you're going to see that hitbox that I was just talking about coming into play. So I'm trying to jump down the block, and it was really tough to kind of get down, just because my hitbox is too big, I think. So this is down here. If I turn my flashlight out, see what I'm talking about? See how dark it is? I can't see anything. I'm spinning all around, and I can't see a goddamn thing. So this is where I feel like there should be some windows in the building or whatever, or just some light, a little bit of light. So we, you know, there should be light coming in this window, but you know, there's really not. We can see outside, but none of this light is actually coming in because when I turn directly around, it's just complete darkness. And this is what I was talking about, right? So that's a big immersion breaker. I don't like that at all. But what you got to do, guys, you got to find these lights, turn the lights on with the E button. And this is where I feel like being able to hit your left mouse button to turn that on would also be helpful. So I would definitely make that change. That's an easy change. You know, tie the E key into the left mouse button as well.
She's nearby.
Okay, so you heard my guy say she's nearby, but I don't know where she's at. She's gonna see me, right? Yep. So you see, again, my hitbox was so big that she hit me from, like, literally 20 feet away. And I'm dead! So it was 3 days before Barry's body was discovered. Nathan vanished without a trace. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and try playing again. And, I mean, if you're looking at this game and you're watching me play it, I don't know if this game looks like fun to you, but that really wasn't a whole lot of fun, to be honest. And there's ways that I think the developer can make this game way more fun, and we'll talk about that towards the end of the video. But see how hard it is for me to get through there? And again, I think that's because my hitbox is so big. Okay. Let's go over here. So we're on the 3rd floor right now. Let's go ahead and hit this button and try the elevator out. So it said in the tips that she cannot hear footsteps or the elevator. So she shouldn't be coming to where I'm at based on my footsteps or the sounds of the elevator. So once we get in here, we can go to any of the floors. So let's go ahead and try floor 0. I wonder if there's a exit in floor 0. So at least if we can find the exit, we'll know where it's at. If we find those 7 items, the 5 dead bodies, the key, and the doll.
Like a maze in here.
So that turns on the lights. Now, I've been through several rooms in my first hour of gameplay here, guys. And one thing I'm also noticing, it seems like there is not nearly enough batteries. Batteries are really big. They're big and white, and they look like just big rectangles. But I feel like there's... He either needs to slow down the battery consumption from your flashlight, or I feel like he needs to add more batteries in the game. But that's just my impressions of the first hour. Sometimes, as an indie developer myself, guys, I know it's hard for indie developers to sometimes think of the fact that, hey, you know, people that play your game aren't going to know everything that you know, so they're not going to know the locations on all these batteries or where to look like you do. So I think we heard a light break. So she's probably around. I guess you don't, because she can't see, I guess being able to crouch really isn't that important. But I would like to have the ability to run. Because if I fucking see her, I want to run. And I feel like most people are going to want to be able to run. Wouldn't you say so, Addie? I know Addie's watching.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, there's a lot of things the developer's done right, I think. You know, but I just...
It's got great potential, I feel.
Yeah, it does have good potential. And for his first game on Steam, I think he's done a pretty good damn job. Okay. So again, right there, see how, like, I have to go right through the middle? So if I bumped into, like, the sides getting through this door at first. And the door closes itself. Yeah, I would slim down your hitbox just a little bit, though.
Ah, check.
Maybe if you even do like grainy night goggles or something to help with the blackness.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Giving yourself night goggles would be a great idea.
Yeah. I mean, like, you know, obviously you want that the jump scare, which you'll still get that if you get the grainy, like where you can't really see anything scratchy kind of night vision to where you could see, but yet you really can't kind of thing, just so you just don't have a black screen.
Right. So this is one of the 5 bodies, I'm guessing, that we need to see, and I hit the E button. I'm guessing because we see that skull up at the top right, that means we found one of the 5 dead bodies. So remember, we have to find 5 of them to get out. So at least we're making some progression here. There we go. This is what I'm talking about. I'm completely out of batteries. I feel like I'm not using my battery that much. I feel like I'm trying to turn on the lights and I'm out of battery, and there's no other batteries available. So that's kind of frustrating. And you can't search any of these shelves or anything like that either, so... Not that I want to have to search all these shelves, because I think that would be really monotonous and not fun. But we can't get that thing. That's not a battery anyway. Okay, let's go through here. So I guess this is a broken light. So again, unless we have our flashlight, we can't see here because the light won't turn on. And since I'm out of batteries, it's not working very good. And so if I walk right by a battery, I'm not going to see it because it's complete darkness, like I said. And there is her doll, it looks like. So we found 2 of the 7 items. Yep, it shows us what we've found up at the top right. Okay, flashlight is not working. Okay. Again, the light here is not working. So right there, that light right there, I feel like more of those should be spread around the building maybe. Even if the lights are off, there should be like those emergency lights or something like that that give us a little bit of light. So see how there's a little bit of light there? I feel like there should be more of those. That might be an easy add for the developer to add more lights like this, that even if the lights are off. Well, I think this is actually tied to this. Yeah. So without that light right there, yeah, it's complete darkness. So, not fun, man. There's just too little light. Yeah, we should never be in total darkness. Like right now, I can't see anything, and I have no flashlights. And this is where the non-fun element of the game comes in. More flashlights or more light. Even if all the lights are out, there should be more light dissipation from like windows or maybe emergency lights that are always on. Something would help a lot, because nobody wants to be trying to move around in complete darkness where they can't see a goddamn thing. That's just not fun. Okay. Well, it looks like we've already explored everything we can explore this direction. Where was the door? Oh, that's not a door. We need to go back this way. Light's broken. Yeah. So maybe to the developer, maybe what you want to do is take away the ability for the creature to break the lights completely. Like maybe have her instead turn off the lights and you have to turn them back on. But going up here and not being able to turn the lights back on and being in total darkness is not fun. So I think what I would do, I like the red light so you can always see where the light switch is. That's good. But I think what I would do to fix your whole lighting problem is make her actually hit the light switches and turn the lights off on you. And that's also kind of one way that you know where she's been. But then make her turn the lights off, but make it so you can always turn the lights back on. For you to be stuck in total darkness is just not fun. Either give us more light spread throughout the building, even when the lights are out, or make it so she just turns the lights off and doesn't break them. That would be my suggestion. Again, just because I think it's really unfun to be stuck in total darkness. Especially when you're looking for shit. When you're looking for her. Let's go this way.
She's nearby.
She's nearby, right. So like she's behind us? Let's go this way. And see, so I'm trying to avoid this creature, but I think you guys can see how unfun this is for me to try to avoid something I can't see. And then I believe I just got grabbed, and I think I'm dead. Or no, I found somebody that's dead. I found another skull at the top right. So because I can't even see, I don't know what I found. There we go. Oh, it's right there. The dead creature's right there. Now the flashlight's kind of flickering. I can't see, so I don't know what's going on. I can't see at all. I don't know if she's about to snag me. I don't know anything. It'd be nice to be able to see something right now, but we can't, guys. And this is like what Eddie said. I think this game is so close to being a pretty good game. But this yeah, and I just died. Like, she can see me, but I can't see her. I mean, that sounded like her biting me. Yes, that was her bite. So it was 3 days before Barry's body was discovered. Okay, so with that, guys, I think we kind of have an idea of what we're getting with that last girl. And I feel like this game is so close to being a good, fun game. But it just needs a little bit more work. And I honestly think that you don't even need to worry about a little bit of light dissipation. I mean, one way you could do that, I guess, is like buy some candles that, you know, spread throughout, or like a set of emergency lights that are flickering or whatever. Flickering lights are always kind of creepy. So if you could put on flickering lights in some locations just to give you a little bit of light, that would be good. Either that, or I would make it so she can't break the lights completely and make it so she just goes and turns the lights off, and then you have to turn it back on. That could be fun. Also giving us the ability to run would be good, because when I see her, when I know she's around, I definitely want to run. But if I'm in total darkness, I'm not going to know where the fuck to go, so this is why we need to have at least a little bit of light coming from somewhere. Maybe flickering lights above, maybe something. Some way of being able to see even if the lights are out would definitely be helpful. Anything else you could think of, Addie?
No, you were pretty thorough with everything.
Yeah. And, you know, definitely if you're not going to do anything with the lights, more batteries, or make the battery last longer, would be good. The developer needs to understand that he may know exactly where all the batteries are located on his game in these huge levels on all the floors of the game. But remember, the players don't have a clue where the fucking batteries are at. And so I've only found one. I only found one battery in my whole first hour of the game. So that's too little. I feel that's way too few batteries for as quickly as the flashlight battery runs out. There's only 7 things to find in the game, and then, you know, and then you complete the story, or you complete the game. So I feel like if you know where to go and you know where to look, this game could probably be beaten, you know, 30, 45 minutes. But since I don't have a clue where I'm going, especially in complete darkness, you know, it's going to take me a lot longer to figure the game out. So that's my recommendations, guys. The last girl right now. If I was to review I'm glad the developer didn't pay for like a, you know, positive Steam review, or hoping that I would give him a positive Steam review on the game. But because right now, if I was to have bought this game by myself and reviewed it, I don't think this would be a miss game. I think this would be a get good video, honestly. And my get good videos are basically games that show potential, and with some more work, they could be a good game. It's a game where I see potential for a fun game. But right now, the game's just not that much fun. And most of that has to do with the game's just too dark, and the lights break, and you can't see where the hell you're going. And with so few batteries spread around the game as well, it's not much fun. And then another thing too, like to the developer as well, and I don't know how you do it in like a 3D engine like the Unreal Engine, but one thing you have is when you have the flashlight, right? And I hate this about so many games, and I don't know how you can do it better, but I know I've seen it in the Unreal Engine before. But you have your flashlight, and it's all in one area. Oops. So the flashlight is one beam, and it basically, you know, it makes a beam. And let me show you what I'm talking about. So when you shine your flashlight, right, and it shines like a beam right here that's completely solid. And so if I fill this in, let me go ahead and make the alpha a little bit lower. But this is kind of what we see in this game. We have a flashlight, and we kind of see like one really straight path for the flashlight coming out. But in the real world and in good games, this light dissipates throughout the room better than it's not just on or completely off like an inch away. It has the light spreads out more than what we see in this game. And that's another thing I could strongly suggest to the developer is find a flashlight asset or a way to light rooms up and stuff like that where the light spreads out more from your flashlight rather than just in one, what do you call this? A light ray, from your flashlight. Try to find more light spread, a way to spread this light out more so it lights up the rooms better than just like this. So hopefully that makes sense to you. That would be another suggestion for you. But the biggest problems are it's just too dark. When it's dark, it's way too dark, and the lights break, and you can't turn it back on, and if you're out of batteries, you're basically screwed, and you're walking around in complete darkness that looks like this. You can't see a goddamn thing. And walking around like this, especially when you're hearing that creature close to you, you don't have a chance. That's just not fun. And it's not fair to the player. So this right here, guys, is the biggest problem with the game. And I think the developer, can definitely fix that and give us more light spread and more, flickering lights, whatever. There's a million ways to do it where you can at least see something. No matter if all the lights are out or whatever, we should be able to see something. Whether it be light coming in from the windows or whatever. And that's my biggest suggestion to the developer, and the best way that I think that we can have fun with the game and people can have fun finding your 5 bodies, your doll, and whatever else. Another thing I would strongly suggest is, at least with a doll, I would put that doll in a random location every time so that it can't be, if you don't already have that, it may already be where it's in a random location every time. But if it's not, I would definitely have that doll and the key in random locations. So it's a different experience every time you play, or it's a little bit different. Because I feel like your bodies are always going to be in the same locations. Right now, guys, just so you know, if I was to review this game on Steam, what score would I give it? I would give this game a good score, and right now, because of this, the game would get about a 3 out of 10 for me. Maybe a 3 or a 4, somewhere there. And I know that's harsh, but I feel like with more light, the game could be a lot better and the score would go up. So there you go to the developer. Hopefully that'll help you make your game more fun. And that's me being completely honest. And fix your game, put out an update, give us more light spread, and I'll be more than happy to take another look at your game. Addie, do you have anything to add?
Nope, I'm good. I'm just an observer.
You're just an observer. Okay, well, yep, she's just kind of been watching me play this game and review
You've
the game.
said it very well.
I think so. Okay. Yeah, one other thing I think the developer could do is when we find the bodies, one thing that would be cool is kind of like how we made a good intro video to the game. I feel like maybe when we find the bodies, like maybe seeing like not as long of a video, but maybe seeing like a 10-second video of how that person died would be really cool. So kind of reward the player for finding each of the 5 bodies, and once we find them, like it could also add tension and creepiness to the game if all of a sudden we saw a cutscene, like even 5-10 seconds of a cutscene of how that person died. That girl stabbing her in the neck, or plucking eyeballs out of the body, or whatever, something horrifying with the sound effects and stuff like that could really put us on edge and give us chill bumps on our arms or something like that. If you made some really creepy, like, just really quick cutscenes, every time we find a body, seeing how they died would have a huge effect, I think. So
and we know they got potential because at the beginning, the opening credit little video that they have there is really nice too. So.
Exactly. And guys, I mean, to the developer as well, I want to go ahead and give you guys an indie developer name of good low-budget horror games like this that I've enjoyed over the past many years. And it's the guy who makes Depth 6 and The Girl's Fabric Face and stuff like that. Inside Depth 6, this guy, Stanislaw Trakowski. If you look at a lot of the games that I played, I reviewed his games, and I really liked most of his games. And a lot of them could be beat in an hour or two. But these are really good, low-budget games. And to the developer, if you've never played any of Stanislaw's little horror games, you might want to do that, because I think he can maybe give you some great ideas on how you can improve your game. But you'll see, like in his games, guys, you'll see one thing. You'll see how if we look here, we see how the light, see how he's never walking around in total darkness, right? But like right there, we see that there is a little bit of light here coming through. And this is what this last game that I just played, this is what that girl needs. You know, there's light coming in from above. Even though it's dark down here, there's light coming in from areas that at least allow you to see. You're never just in total darkness in this game. There's darker areas and darker tunnels, but you can always fucking see no matter what. You're never just the total black screen. And that's what I'm talking about. You always want to be able to see whether you don't have any batteries or not. You want to be able to see at least a little bit, right? And if any of you guys are looking for good low budget horror games, check out Stanislaw. Just you know, search Death 6 and then click on Stanislaw's name, and you'll see all the games that he's played, you know, that he's made. And he's made what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them, and they're all really good low budget indie horror games, and I think they all go on sale all the time for like, you know, 74 cents or around $1. And great little indie horror games. So it can definitely be done. And so hopefully that gives you guys something to look at as well, and hopefully gives this developer another reference to maybe look at to help him, you know, help him improve his own game and maybe find ways to make his game a little bit better. All right, guys, with that, we're going to go ahead and leave it there. That last girl, right now, if I was to review it, like I said, I'd probably give it about a 3.5 or 4 out of 10. And it's mainly due to the fact that I can't fucking see most of the time. And that's frustrating. And I can't run as well. And I want to be able to run. If I see this fucking creature, I want to be able to turn and run, because it seems like she has a knack and a way of always finding me. So let us fucking run, man. If I get scared, I want to run, goddammit. And I feel like most people are going to feel the same way. All right, guys, we're going to leave it there. Thanks so much for watching. And to the developer, thanks so much for your sponsorship on this review. And hopefully this video has helped you out and helped you make your game better. Keep up the good work, man. You know, you definitely could turn this game into a really fun game with not too much more work. Have a good one, everybody. We'll see you in the next video. Take care.